Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fandom Fridays, where we proceed to check out all the fanfics that are not pony related. Why? Because I is sleepy. And you know what we need today? We need some more Power Rangers. So it's back to the grind with Power Rangers Guardians of Gaia, Season 1, Episode 6, Separation. Chapter 6, Separation. Walker and Darkia backed away as the hard group before them finished molding into a monster. It stood like a dark green bipedal sphinx, but its joints were a bit narrow, like an insect's. It also had extile wings in a distance to the large feathery wings of the sphinx. The creature also had sides like a mantis's forming on its forearms, in addition to lion-like claws. Finally, its head was mostly that of a sphinx, but its eyes and mouth were that of a mantis. It hissed at the two as it stepped toward them, the weapons pointing it with fear. Walker, if we don't live through this, I just want to let you know. I've always hated your guts. Zarkia muttered, keeping a tight grip on her sword.
Feelings mutual, sister, Walker replied. In fact, if you could let the monster eat you first and cause it to choke to death.
Mah! The monster started to moan. Mah! Mah! What's he trying to say? Darkia asked.
Walker's face paled as he watched the creature's eyes fix on him. Oh no, you can't think.
Ma! Ma! The creature growled, knocking the weapons away and tackle-hucking Walker to the ground. Most of Darkia's immense amusement. Well, the good news is, it isn't going to eat us. She said between giggles.
Get this thing off of me!
Walker yelled. That is no way for a mother to address her son, Walker, Darkia corrected.
Help me!
Walker insisted as the hugs for the Sphinx/Mantis monster crushed the air out of his lungs. Wait, can't do that. We need to study how this brand new creature interacts, Darkia insisted. Now, try not to move around much. This is for science after all.
Will you please separate me from this?
Walker started to scream before a thought occurred to him, causing him to sit up and send the monster rolling to the side.
Separate? That's it! We need to separate the Rangers!
Rangers? The monster ass came back up. Walker grinned evilly, turning to the creature.
Yes, my Sphinx Mantis Lightless.
Sphinx? The monster moaned, deep in thought. Mantis? Spantis.
Yes, Spantis.
Walker said, getting to his feet.
You'll help me destroy the Rangers, won't you? First, we have to separate them.
They seem to be perfectly capable of dealing with hordes of blunts on their own. We've done this before, remember?
True. But now we have an independently created monster. One that doesn't need our contestant to be held together. Now I could create one Lightless, and you could create another.
And we'll have enough to get the Rangers to split into 3 groups. Darkia finished, as long as he got the idea. And no way that 1 or 2 of them can handle a Lightless without having the rest of their team to back them up. Dirk let out a long sigh, looking at the mountain range in the distance of the roof of the ancient library. He came out of the roof on his alone time, taking the cool air and behold the majesty of the Gaian landscape. It was better to think about that than his current situation, how he and his friends were stuck in a world that always seemed to be trying to kill them. How much he missed his home, which, granted, he didn't see that often being away at college anyway. Reaching to his pocket, Dirk pulled out his wallet, opening up to a photo of his family. His parents, his big sister Tanya, his little brother Travis, and the little dog Custard. Don't worry, you guys, I promise. I'm gonna be home someday soon. I just gotta figure this all out. Pocketing his wallet again, Dirk looked down to the trees. Suddenly there was motion. Ghost he picked out a human-shaped figure in the woods. Unsure if it was a blot or not, and knowing the ancient library's location was supposed to be a secret, he quickly made his way to the vines leading down to the side of the building, knowing he needed to give chase to whoever was nearby and reported the library's location. Oh man, he thought, please let that just be a lost elf, because as well Walker screams, we are in a lot of trouble if it gets back to him. Okay, ready to try this again? Layla asked. Setting up the target as Nikki corrected her heat signals into a heat bow. Yeah, Nikki replied, drawing an arrow. I really need to get better with the heat bow. Based on what Jalwar told me, the arrows it can produce possesses a ton of fire energy. It can be fired faster than our blaster shots. You saw the kind of firepower it picked the last time I used it. If I could just master this thing, I just know it'd be a huge help.
Lila nodded, walking over. Okay, we always use more help. Okay, go for it! Nikki sighed, trying to clear her head and preparing her arrow. Pulling back on the string, she put every last bit of focus into controlling the bow. Sure enough, as she released the arrow, her hand shook, sending it careening off and just barely hitting the outer rim of the target.
Ugh! Why can't I get it to work?
Nikki complained. Because you're overthinking it, Lila explained. Here. Lila passed her a new arrow, then helped her get into her stance, guiding her hands. You have good aim with a blaster, but you're overthinking it with a bow because it's different. Well, it really isn't that much. Just need to let it happen. Stop being so tense and let go of everything. Let everything cool down when you don't even need to think. You just do. Nikki blinked, turning her head slightly to look at Lila in the face, see how red she was getting.
Lila? Are we still talking about archery?
Lila's eyes widened, backing up her hurry. I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
What's wrong?
Nikki asked, putting her heat bow down. I'm sorry, I'm just lonely is all. Lila admitted, without many girls close to my age.
Come on, Lila's only a year older than you.
Nikki started to say before Lila's behavior and embarrassed face caught up with her.
And yeah, I just figured out what you meant. Lila, I am so sorry.
It's okay. I probably should have been upfront about that from the beginning. It's not exactly something you could bring up in casual conversation.
Does your sister know about this?
Nikki inquired, letting a groan and roll of her eyes from the blonde before her. Yes, Lila answered, and she wasn't overprotective of me for everything else, especially being the physically weakest on a ranger team. That doesn't help matters either, at all.
Nikki scratched the back of her head. Wish I could give advice there. I don't have many other older siblings.
Yeah, well, makes me wonder how I ever got along with a big sister, Lila replied, rubbing her temples. Madeline hummed cheerfully as she entered the main chamber of the ancient library, sipping a glass of orange juice. Scanning around, she saw Jalwar was once again sitting at his desk, his nose in another of his books, while Patrick was observing the viewing globe. Suddenly she didn't see him jailing Dusk Castle. Hey, Patrick! She called over as she walked over to him. What's up, Dick?
I've been checking up on the phone good over. The man replied, convincing certain details to memory.
Nell's eyes widened in surprise. Jeez, how much?
Just enough that I started to notice something.
Pat answered, pointing at various locations of the globe and zooming in on them.
A lot of geological locations started to look pretty familiar to me, like I've seen them before.
When were you seeing locations in Gaia? Madeline wondered aloud.
I went to laugh, Patrick said, and that's the weird part. What's the weird part?
The two heard Nikki ask as she and Lila walked in.
Take a look at this, Patrick responded, zooming in on a vast canyon. See this canyon? It's the biggest one on record in Gaia.
And? Lila asked curiously.
And, online, it isn't nearly as big. The shape is very familiar. Patrick went on. Joa, could you pass that sketch I showed you? Absolutely, Patrick, Joa replied, getting up from his desk and passing a piece of tracing paper over to Patrick. The jacket that's what completely overlaps the shape of the canyon, Patrick said, holding the paper up. To Chris' amazement, it was a rough sketch of a canyon, that matched the shape of the one from the vehicle perfectly.
Lila's jaw dropped. Is that canyon you sketched what I think it is?
Patrick nodded. The Grand Canyon. They're different sizes, but the shape is a perfect match.
How the heck is that possible?
Madeline demanded, looking at Jawar. Remember, Gaia and Earth are parallel worlds, inhabiting the same place in space and time. Jawar explained, stroking his beard. Certain locations, like this canyon, can have a similar place on Earth. As the changes to one world affects the other. Yeah, was got to be thinking of something scary, Patrick concluded, turning his face to the team. That if Walker and Dakia take over Gaia, the effects on Earth could just be as terrible. Nikki's eyes narrowed. So, to sum up, we gotta save this world to save our world. Wonderful.
Suddenly, the alarm went off and the torches along the main chamber burned brighter. The team looked back to the viewing globe. Once again, 2 different locations were highlighted. A ship captained by dwarves under attack by blots, said dwarves in the process of getting to the rowboats onto the sides. Another small squad headed towards the village of gnomes. Speak of the devils, Nikki muttered, holding up her communicator. Dirk, come in! We got an emergency! No kidding, Dirk replied, sounding out of air. I spotted someone sneaking a peek at the ancient library. Could be a spy, or it could just be a really fast sightseer, but... Understood, Nikki cut him off. Find out for sure who or what it is. We can meet up with us later. Take your finger off the communicator. Nikki looked back to the others. Lila, Madeline, you've got the ship. Patrick, you're with me. It's morphin' time! The others nodded as the 4 pulled their crystals from their chains, drawing the crystal blast morphers. Quickly inserted them aside and pulled the triggers, yelling, Guardians of Gaia! Awaken! The multicolored blast shot out, spiraling around the team before doubling back on the Eatsuiter, covering them with energy as their suits materialized. Once the team were all morphed, Jarwar teleported them away. Hoping his gut feeling was more than going on appeared, was this him giving overseas suspicions in his old age. Dark panned hard, running through the forest, but didn't relent, hearing the breath of the individual he was chasing. From the sounds of it, it clearly wasn't a blot, but he couldn't really be sure who or what it was, and there was no way he could go back without knowing for certain. Hearing the runner's breathing coming from behind a bus nearby, Dirk drew his blaster. Though kept the crystal out, just to avoid risking blasting someone with destructive force when it was called for. Slowly, he crept forward, until finally leaping in front of the bus with a yell of Freeze! The girl kneeling before him held up her hands in fear, and across her arms facing. She was a girl 3 years older than him, wearing a cowgirl hat, orange t-shirt, and blue overalls. Applejack? What are you doing here? His eyes widened as he immediately recognized her. Tanya? Dirk demanded, astonished. Sis, what are you doing here? Tanya's eyes met his, but stretching into a smile as he looked up and hugged him. Dirk! Oh man, am I glad to see you! How did you get here? Dirk asked, the two eventually breaking their hug. Some people at the college called us. They told us how you and yours disappeared, so I came looking for you. I checked out the club room, then there was this flashlight, and then I was in a weird place. Why did you run from me? Dirk inquired, confused. I didn't get a good look of who or what was chasing me, Tiny answered. I thought it was one of those black monsters I've been seeing with red eyes. Dirk, what's going on around here? It's a long story, but Dirk started to say before something clicked in his head. Wait a sec. You said you showed up here after coming to the club room at college? Tanya blinked for a moment. Yeah, why? Dirk smiled widely. That means the portal that brought us all to Gaia is still open. Tanya, you gotta remember where you were when you first got here. Not far from here, Tanya said, trying to replace her steps. About a mile's hike, more or less. Dirk sighed for a moment. Yeah, I can check that out and be back to help the others in no time. Lead the way! Tanya nodded, grabbing her brother's hand and made their way to where he saw her. Dirk couldn't help but smile as he felt the warmth of his sister's hands thread his. And if they could just find the portals he came through, they could get back home and get some help to stop Walker and Darkia, and everything would be all right again. It's the plague for you guys! Madeline yelled, kicking a blot clear off the side of the ship. Time I scrubbed the deck with some of you guys, Lania called, facing his small pack of blots. Foot launcher! Whipping out her massive cannon, Lila blasted the blots, sending him sailing over the edge of the ship and splashing into the wire. Nancy flashed a quick thumbs up to Madeline, who returned it. The last of the blots slid overboard. Well, that wasn't so hard. Madeline cried as she found herself trapped in a giant bubble, sending her rolling across the deck. Sis! Lila shouted, quickly coming to face with the one responsible. A large black frog monster, which was dragging itself on the deck. Lightless. That's Z from all correctness to you, Ribbit. The frog replied, staring down at the Blue Ranger. Let her out of there now! Delia demanded. I'm afraid not. Ribbit! The frog lightless said, Malice still rolling in a bubble on the deck. She can only be free of the bubble if you beat me. And you might want to think about taking me out fast, before the oxygen in that bubble runs out. Ribbit! Ribbit! If that's how you want it, Lila responded, opening fire with a flood launcher. Fortunately, the frog lightless simply spat out massive bubbles, trapping the blast for the cannon inside. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit! The frog lightless yelled, leaping to the air before swinging its arms at Layla, knocking the flood launcher from her hands. It then spun around, planted both hands down on the deck, and kicked his feet into the Blue Ranger, sending her crashing into the mast. Layla managed to duck a quick punch from the monster, but then it whipped its tongue out, missing her hard and sending her stumbling across the deck. Kill! Layla groaned. It's too strong. Layla let Dora bubble Madeline was trapped in. She was trying to pop it with her lightning daggers, but it wasn't working. As the bubbles started getting blacker, Madeline was finding herself with less and less air. Layla felt terror seep in, realizing she didn't have much time to see her. No, darn it! Layla cursed, closing her fist. Get what's out now, Layla. You gotta do this for your sister! Heat sabers! Nikki shouted, bringing out her twin swords and slicing down to the last blot, with playing in the distance till the fence. Well, they didn't put up much of a fight. Tell me about it, Patrick agreed, realizing his grip on his storm lance. That seemed to be a little too easy. Just because it was, you fools, the two heard an old familiar voice say. Looking ahead, he quickly spied Walker and Darky ahead towards him, flanked by a new, uglier monster than he ever seen. Like some bizarre science experiment gone wrong. Ugh, what kind of likeness is that? Patrick demanded. The kind that destroys Power Rangers, my little green fool, Walker remarked, before turning to face said monster. Spentus, these are the Power Rangers. Destroy them! Destroy Rangers! Spentus growled, almost gleefully. With that, he looked over Walker and Darkia, swimming towards Sticky and Patrick before swiping his scythe blades at them, sending him tumbling aside. Patrick winced and used his lance to get back to his feet. Oh man, that's like the wallop. Let's see how it lights a little fire to the face! Nikki yelled, drawing her blaster and holding in the trigger. Fire blast! Releasing the trigger, the Red Ranger released a power-up blast of fire energy right in Spantus' face. However, just as the blast was about to connect, the monster swiped his sides in front of himself. As he slashed the blast apart, causing it to fizzle out. Nikki's eyes shot open. It shocked what she just saw. As such, she was wide open to Spantus charged her, tackling her to a tree. Then he swung his sides over for her head, just missing as he barely managed to duck, causing the tree to fall over. Hang on, Nicky! Patrick shouted, starting to dash towards him until he was confronted with Darkia, blocking his path. Okay, so don't have time for you today. Nick time, Green Ranger! Darkia demanded, swinging her sword and locking up with Patrick's lance. Dirk smiled, threatened to nearly rip itself open wider at what he saw. Sure enough, right off the ground was a large circular portal. Peering into it, he saw the collet on Earth. It looked pretty big enough to step through. He had to stop himself from falling to his knees and weeping in joy. Falling face to face with the mean sleep Gaia, and Tanya couldn't help but giggle as his face betrayed such an emotion. Oh man, this is really it! Dirk teared. So, what are we waiting for? Tanya asked. Let's hurry up and go home. Dirk took a step forward, but quickly stopped. Wait, I should contact the others. Don't want to know about this. Holding his communicator up, he quickly hit the blue gem. Guys, come in. There's something you gotta see. A little tied up now, Dirk! Nikki shouted back, the sound of blades slashing constantly in the background. Walker and Darkia, they got a new monster. Patrick and I need help, now! Dirk felt his skin peel lightly, giving his head a quick shake. Lila, man, you gotta get the others right. I can't! Lila cried, sounding to be in pain. Madeline's stuck in some kind of bubble and that's taking her oxygen. I gotta stop this monster, or she'll suffocate! Dirk's eyes widened in terror, looking back to his sister. Oh man, they need help, now! But you can't save them all, Turk. There isn't time. We've gotta go through the portal and get help. But they might not last, Dirk insisted. What if one or more of them is destroyed because I went to find help instead of going after them myself? But there's only one of you, Tanya reasoned. Nikki and the others can hold out for a while longer. You've got to go through Earth to get help. Dirk thought it over. It was true. There was only enough time to go after one group. But he chose to help Nikki destroy the monster there. Madeline could die. On the other hand, if he took too long trying to get help on Earth, they could all be destroyed. Then again, there were other Power Rangers on Earth, all quick to lend a hand whenever needed. The best choice was to do that. You're right, sis, Dirk started to say before something went off his head, voice telling him something was wrong. What did you say? Tanya blinked, confused. I said we've got to go get help from Earth. Madeline and the others will be okay. Dirk's eyes narrowed. No. You said Nikki and the others can hold out. Tanya shrugged. So? What does it matter which one I said? It matters because you've never met Nikki, Dirk answered, realized Stacy hitting him like a truck. She was never officially registered as a member of the Crystallography Club, so no one would know for sure she was with us when she disappeared. Now please Crystal free from his chain. It's morphin' time! The doppelganger light was swinging its arms. Since he realized masses of gray liquid, Dirk inserting his crystal into Crystal Blast Morpher, dug down underneath him. Blades splashed to the ground as he said, Guardians of Gaia, awaken! Sending the orange blast ricocheting off the ground, it hit the monster before bouncing back, granting Dirk his razor suit. Quake! Axe! The razor roared, calling forth his axe and cleaving into the gray liquid. Doppelganger leg was backed off in pain, though his arms quickly regenerated. However, it wasn't quick enough as Dirk leapt into the air, breaking the axe down on the monster, causing it to collapse in a pump of gray liquid, which quickly seeped to the ground. It don't ever come back, you creep! Lila cried out in pain and found herself being knocked back into her crate of goods, shattering it. Just as she started to get back up, the frog lightless whipped out his tongue, wrapping around her ankles and flinging it into the helm of the ship. Lila groaned as she fought to get back up. Once again, the frog lightless marched slowly over to her. Rolling on the deck behind it was a bubble carrying Madeline, now much darker in color, with Madeline having pulled off her helmet and trying desperately to breathe. She won't last long, Lila realized, her eyes suddenly spotting a bubble tattoo, tip of the frog lightless's tongue as it slipped into his mouth. Wait a sec. What's with that tattoo? Could that be its weak spot? You're running out of time, Blue Ranger. The frog lightless taunted, or rather, the Violet Ranger is. Funny, Layla muttered, pressing a thumb to her buckle, calling forth the turtle crystal. You just ran out of time. Frog lightless quickly shot out his tongue as Layla inserted the turtle crystal into her Gaia saber, screaming out, Aqua Sol! She then fired a charged up shot from her blaster, sending out a burst of wire energy before slashing her saber across. The aquamarine slash joined the blast to become an aqua-like buzzsaw-like blast, sending it forward and cutting the tip of the frog lightless's tongue clean off. The monster howling in pain as the severed tongue evaporated into thin air, followed by the bubble containing Madeline. The Violet Ranger collapsed onto the deck, nearly hyperventilating as she found the fresh air entering her lungs again. Sis! Layla sighed, Madeline quickly managing to hurl lightning daggers at the frog lightless. It roared in pain as the voltage from the daggers coursed through its body, causing it to fall apart into a mass of black smog that floated away into the sky. Madeline sighed, crawling over to her sister. Layla, you beat him. Layla fell to her knees, exhausted. Yeah, I don't know how, but I beat him. Madeline smiled, reaching over and grabbing the Blue Racer a hug. Good job, sis. Nikki yelled as he went to drop kick Spiantis, only for him to dodge and break his sides across her, sending sparks off her shoes as she collapsed to the ground. She was in pain as she dragged herself back to a knee, grabbing her fallen heat sabers. The monster was clearly faster and stronger than her, and with Patrick held up by Darkia, the two engaged in a intense parry fest a few yards away. She was alone against him. Nikki dragged her swords to the ground, forcing herself back up to her feet as Spiantis dared her to attack again. Looking down to her swords, the Red Ranger knew she had to do to beat this monster. Lugging the hilts together to form the heat bow, an arrow immediately materialized in her hand as she took hold of the bow. Just remember what Layla said, Nikki reminded herself as she took a deep breath and raised the arrow. Spiantis preparing to slice it in half as soon as he released it. You can't overthink it. Just need to let it happen. Don't overthink it. Just let it happen. Don't think. Do! With that last thought, Nikki released the arrow, letting it shoot towards Spiantis like a bank burning arrow. Spiantis swung his sides forward, looking to slice the arrow apart, but missed, causing the arrow to slam square in the chest and explode. The blast knocked him several yards away, colliding with Darkia and sending it tumbling to the ground. Get off me, you lookhead! Darkia shouted, showing him off and getting right back up. Walker joining them.
However, to Darkia's chagrin, not only were Nikki and Patrick forming up, he quickly saw the other Rangers were making their way towards them. Since he reached out for mine, sensing the frog light in his gaseous form. Darn it! Darkia gasped. To beat the frog lightless. I thought you said he could handle the Blue Ranger alone. Wasn't easy, but let's just say he's been tongue whipped. Layla called over as she, Mal, and Dirk joined Patrick and Nikki. And your doppelganger Lightless isn't doing much better, Dirk shouted, pointing his axe to the villains. You used the image of my family against me. For that, I'm going to make sure you learn the real meaning of hurt. It's over, Walker, Nikki yelled, sending an arrow to her bow. Walker growled, raising his staff. It's never over. Dark staff of the wyvern. Make the Lightless grow! The wyvern half of the staff opened his jaws. You can see black veins into the sky. Quickly joining the dark smog of the frog Lightless. The two forces combined together to reform the monster as a giant. It roared as its power was restored. Then it turned to a nearby village. Its intent to smash it clear. Nikki gritted her teeth as Walker then formed a portal for his group, knowing this was the Ranger's best chance to fall into their face and finish this. But he couldn't let the village be destroyed. We'll deal with them later, Nikki said with a growl, drawing her Gaia saber as Walker and the others advanced to the portal. Let's stun that creep before he destroys the village! The others hesitantly nodded as they drew their Gaia sabers, swinging their crystals and racing into the sky before shouting, We need Gaia Sword power now! Flame Phoenix Gaia Sword, power up! Terrain Hippogriff Gaia Sword, power up! Blue Defiant Gaia Sword, power up! Orange Behemoth Gaia Sword, power up! Violet Thunderbird Gaia Sword, power up! Let's do this! Nikki shouted, leaping up into the Gaia Swords as they approached. The other Rangers doing the same. The group caught in the beams of light, fired out by their swords that teleported into the cockpits. Rangers, lock on! Patrick there is ready to kick some butts. Layla here, we still got some air to burn. Dirk, still craving some payback. Let's crush this toad! Malin retorted, sailing to the front of the Lightless and firing it with thunderbolts from the Thunderbird's sword eyes. Crying out in pain as it backed off, and fatally cut off from the village. Lock on and fire! Dirk and Nikki shouted, Behemoth Phoenix swords, launching orange swords and red fireballs from their mouths at the monster. Sending a sail away tumbling into the lake, where a Leviathan sword was waiting. Turtle sword, power up! Layla called. Inserting the aquamarine crystal into her blaster, blowing the trigger. The turtle sword rose from the lake, letting the Leviathan sword smack it with his tail, sending it crashing into the frog Lightless's gut. This doesn't your day, Patrick yelled as the turtle sword bounced up into the sky. The hippogriff sword stomping on it, sending it smacking across the frog Lightless's face. The monster tumbled out of the lake and tried to land, growling in pain. That's enough! Ribbit, 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 ribbit! The monster roared, spinning out a huge volley of bubbles. One by one, each of the Zords were trapped in bubbles, all floating helplessly in midair. The Lightless laughed triumphantly, to suddenly notice the glimmers of light launching out from each of the Zords just before they were trapped. Sure enough, the Rangers all materialized, sailing towards it with their Gaia sabers drawn, glowing. Quintuple mental slash! The Rangers yelled, swinging their sabers and launching a combined assault of 5 elements right into the front Lightless's Mars. The monster screeched in pain as the tip of its tongue was once again lopped off. The bubbles trapping the Zords fading away as the team managed to lay below. Gaia Swords, combine! Nikki ordered as the team switched their crystals to their 5 Unity crystals. The swords, still sticking of Rangers, leaped into the air, connected together into a giant robot. Pulled the Rangers back in with a rainbow-colored beam, bringing them into the cockpit of his head. Gaia Megazord! Turtle Shield! The Rangers called as the turtle sword folded up into its cell. Megazord grabbing a hold of it. Turtle Typhoon! Gaia Megazord quickly tossed the turtle's arrow into the air before roundhouse kicking it, sending out a frosty blast of the turtle sword as it sailed towards the monster. The shield began to form a whirlpool with huge chunks of ice inside as it spun, slamming the attack into the frog Lightless. However, before he could get the job done, the monster bounced out of the whirlpool, despite the heavy damage it took, only to find itself face to face with the Gaia Megazord, when else look on airborne. Oh no! Sword punch! The Rangers cried as the Gaia Megazord slammed both fists into the monster, destroying it with a massive explosion.
Megazord landed below as a black smoke rose up from the explosion, dissolving to the air. The team all sighed hard, moving their helmets to reveal sweaty, worn out faces. Not gonna lie, that felt a little too good. Layla admitted, lifting her head back and staring up at the roof of the Megazord cockpit. Yeah, payback will do that to you. Nikki replied, rubbing her neck as she glanced over at Dirk, noticing the troubled look on his face. Dirk, you alright? Dirk didn't answer at first, pulling out the photo of his family. Looked at their faces, all happy to be together. Something he had taken for granted back then. Sir, college meant they wouldn't be around us much anymore. Always had his home and family to come back to when he needed. Now? No. But I will be. Elsewhere, at the moment, the doppelganger lightless was reforming in a dank cave. Winston's arms would form last, still suffering from the blows the Earth Ranger had inflicted, despite his regenerative powers. The monster growled as he thought back to Dirk, how he actually managed to see through its illusions, all because of a simple slip-up. Still, the monster thought, smirking evilly, reading the minds of the Rangers has given me some insight on their wants and needs. In fact, I think I know just the way to defeat them now. The monster chuckled slowly as its body began to reform. Within moments, the great figure was gone, replaced with someone dressed in a red and white combat suit of sorts. He wore white boots and gloves with red diamonds on them. The torso of his suit also had white diamonds. A silver and red buckle rested on the front of a white belt. Lastly, he wore a red helmet with a gray mouthpiece and black visor, with accents to give the helmet a clear dinosaur motif. I'm going to beat them at their own game. The lightless in disguise muttered as the red eyes shined under his visor. Nothing more else to say about this particular episode than, oh, good golly, is it great? The revelations, the character development, ah, just a perfect appetizer for something big that's up on the horizon. That was 1,000 words ago. I'll see you next time.